If I told you there's not just one, but two ham radios in this box, would you believe me? Let's open it up and find out. Hey guys, I'm Kevin and this is Comms by Kemp Outside, where your inside source for outdoor comms. Guys, I'm super excited about this. Look how small this box is. There are two ham radios in this box, not just one, two. Radioddity asked me if I wanted to review the new Baofeng UV-5R Mini, and I said, absolutely. Of course I do, because what do I always say? I love new radio review time here on Comms by Kemp Outside, and it's new radio review time. So let's open this box and just see what's in it. I can't believe they've got two ham radios in this box. I haven't seen these yet. I've only seen them online, and so let's just work our way through this box. So I see a belt clip. I see, looks like a lanyard. A second belt clip, that's a good sign. A charging cable, USB-A to USB-C. Second USB-A to USB-C charging cable. Another lanyard. An instruction manual. Looks like a small antenna. A second small antenna. We're gonna take a look at those in a minute. Looks like a battery. A second battery. And then looks like two radios. Oh my gosh, guys, look how small these are. That's insane. Look how small that is. Guys, these are the smallest radios I have. These are TID radio TDM11s. They're FRS radios. You gotta be kidding me. Look how small that is. That's crazy. So these are awesome. Pull the other one out. So there they are, two of them. And let's go ahead and take a look at the batteries here. The batteries are 1600 milliamp hour batteries, right? And they are USB-C rechargeable, which is good. Let's just pop one on here. Wow, guys, that's awesome. Let's just put the belt clip on. Belt clip just snaps in. Look how small those are. Let's take a look at the antennas. So it's a pretty thick, firm, and it says FM 136 to 174 and 400 to 520 megahertz. It is it's a SMA female antenna, which means it's SMA male on the body of the radio. We'll go ahead and screw that on. Wow, guys, that thing is tiny, 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 tiny. Let's do a comparison with another small ham radio just to check it out. This is the TID radio TDH3, right? There is the Baofeng UV-5R Mini. So much smaller even than the TID radio TDH3. That is crazy, guys. So, I thought the TID radio TDH3 was small, but the Baofeng UV-5R Mini is tiny. As a matter of fact, why don't we just compare it with the original UV-5R, right? So, about the same height, right? But a little bit narrower, right? Whoops, I don't know if you can see that even. I'm gonna try this way. A little bit narrower, right? Thickness, about the same thickness. Maybe just a little bit shorter. So, but tiny, 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 tiny radio, guys. This is awesome. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and familiarize myself with the radio because I just got these. Before I continue on the review, I wanna make sure that I can speak from experience with this radio. So give me a little bit and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do more review on this video. And I might even break this review up into multiple videos covering all the different features and things. So let me get back to you. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so I have spent a little bit of time with the Baofeng UV-5R Mini. I did program this one in chirp with some frequencies so that we are all set up to do spurious emissions test and a power transmit test on this radio. So let me get the camera turned around and we're gonna do those tests, and then we're gonna do an audio test, and I'll give you some final thoughts for this video, and then I'm gonna do a second video on how to program this radio. And we're gonna do programming 3 ways. We're gonna program with chirp, we're going to program using a Bluetooth app, and then we're going to also program this radio from the face of the radio. So we're going to cover all 3 of those in a second video on this radio. So stay tuned for that. Let's get turned around and start testing. All right, guys, on the Radiodity website, they advertise this as a 5-watt, 2-watt radio. So I'm guessing that is 5 watts on high, 2 watts on low power. So we're going to test 14652 megahertz, the 2-meter band on high. Here we go. And this radio is putting out 4.99 watts on high, bouncing up to 5. All right, now let's test the 70 centimeter band on high. Here we go. And it is putting out 5.22 watts on high. So that's a good test on high power. Let me switch the radio over to low power. Okay, guys, now we're going to do a power transmit test on low power. Here's 2 meters, 146.52 megahertz, transmitting. And it looks like it's putting out 2.87 watts on low power. Here's the 70 centimeter band on 446. And it is transmitting 2.96 watts on low power. So that's even more than advertised. It's advertised as a 5-watt, 2-watt radio. It's more like a 5-watt, 3-watt radio. Really impressive for such a small radio. All right, guys, here is the spectral purity test on 2 meters to test for spurious emissions. Here we go. We are transmitting on 146.52 megahertz. And if you're not familiar with how to test for spurious emissions, basically what we're doing is we want to make sure that the fundamental frequency is the highest spike, and that any other spike is both 40 dB below the fundamental and also under that little blue line, which indicates 25 microwatts. As you can see that as the tiny SA gets a better picture of what's happening with this transmitter, you can see that second spike just totally dropped out. This is a clean transmitter on 2 meters. Let's test 440 just to see what it's at. All right, guys, we got it set up for 446. So here we go, transmitting here on 446 megahertz. Now, on these higher frequencies, right, it takes the tiny SA a longer time to figure out what's going on. So here we go. It's just got more area to sweep, I think. So as this tiny SA gets a better picture of what's going on, again, we want to see that fundamental frequency be the highest. We want to see all other spurs below that blue line, which is 25 microwatts. We also want to see them 40 dB down from the fundamental. Now, it does take a while for the tiny SA to get a clean picture of what's happening, so don't worry about spikes until the tiny SA starts to settle out. And sometimes you don't want to time out on the radio, so if you unkey and then rekey really quickly, it doesn't hurt too much. So as we can see, it looks like as things are going here, we have 2 little spurs. They're both below the blue line, and they are at least 52 dB down from the fundamental, and they seem to be decreasing as we keep going. So this is also a clean transmitter on the 70 centimeter band. So, yep, that third spur just dropped out. Let's see if the second one drops out. So either way, super clean radio, super excited about this. Good job, Baofeng. So guys, love the test results. A full 5 watts on both bands. That's awesome. I couldn't believe it. I didn't think that this radio was going to get anywhere near 5 watts. Clean transmit on both 2 meters and 70 centimeters. Love that. And the low power is actually a little bit higher than I want. I really would actually like it to be around 2 watts instead of 3, just for battery savings. But hey, I'll take it, right? Very rarely do I run my radios on low power anyway, because I'm typically trying to get get my maximum range out of these things. So it is, nice to be able to have low power, but honestly, I don't use it all that much. So basically, when I'm using low power, it's because I'm communicating with someone like right next to me or something, and then I'll switch my radio over. But if my range is indeterminate, right? If I don't exactly know how far away the person I'm communicating with is in relation to me, then I leave it at high power. So let's talk about specs, right? So the first thing I want to mention is that this is a dual band ham radio, right? So it's not tri-band. It doesn't do the 1.25 centimeter band. It does 2 meters and 70 centimeters, right? And then I'm just referring to my iPad off screen to make sure I get it all right. So it says that the transmission frequency is from 136 to 174 megahertz. That is the 2 meter band. That is MERS. That is Marine VHF, right? You can transmit on all those things. I'm not saying it's legal. I'm just saying the radio is able to do it, right? And then it also transmits from 400 to 480 megahertz, which is the 70 centimeter band for ham radio and FRS and GMRS. So just consider that. It has 999 memory channels, which is a whole lot more than the old Baofeng UV-5R, which I think had a total of 128, if I remember correctly. So 999 memory channels, and then the receive frequency is, again, 136 to 174 megahertz, 350 to 390 megahertz, 400 to 520 megahertz, and then on AM, it'll receive 108 to 136 megahertz. That's the AM aircraft band, and then it also receives the FM broadcast band. That's your radio frequencies from 65 to 108 megahertz. So definitely has a wide receive coverage. I would like to see this be a little bit wider. I would love for it to receive the 1.25 meter band, that's 222 to 225 megahertz. I would love for it to receive maybe even the 6 meter band, right? 50 to 54 megahertz would be awesome if we had expanded receive in a future version of this radio. But for right now, guys, I am loving this radio. Let's do a little walk around tour of the radio itself. Then we're going to do an audio test. We're going to close out this video. And then the next video I make on this radio is going to be a programming video. So stay tuned for that. So let's just take a look at the radio itself. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on. And I mean, like I said, guys, this thing is tiny. And I mean, I love, that screen is great. Although I'm not sure how it will do in sunlight, right? So I'm a little worried about that, but most of the time, once I set my radio, I just leave it anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. And then on the side here, guys, you have two PTTs, A and B, so top and bottom, right? So you can easily respond to either A or B just with the PTTs on the side, which I absolutely love. And then it's got a programmable side key. If I hit it, it turns on the radio, right? And then if I long press it, it opens the squelch, so you can pull in weak signals if you're having a hard time getting somebody. It does have, on this side, it does have a Kenwood K1 connector right there, so you can connect in a speaker mic. And then a single on-off volume knob up top, and it does have a flashlight. I think if you hit this button right here, short press, yep, there's the flashlight. It also has a strobe feature, and then off. The radio itself is just super light, super small, absolutely love it. It does have a very simple keypad. We're going to go over the keypad a little more in depth in the programming video when we do the programming from the face of the radio. One of the other things that I do want to mention is that this will monitor a frequency that you have near you to figure out what it's transmitting, what the frequency is, and then as well what any privacy tone, CTCSS or DCS tone it might be transmitting. So that's really cool. You can press and hold. If you press and hold this button, there you go. See, it says it's search and seek. So it's looking for a frequency to pick up. And if I had another radio close by that was transmitting something, then it would pick that up. As a matter of fact, let's demonstrate that here. So I've got, here's a Radiodity transmitting an FRS channel 1. So let's see if it picks it up. Yep, so there it says 462.5625 with no PL tone, right? So this identified the frequency that this was transmitting. Really, really cool feature, right? I love that. So turn that off, exit. And then just, you know, really, really simple, easy to operate. I love this thing. Now, I am on record as saying that the Baofeng UV-5R, the original, is one of the best things to ever happen to ham radio. And I know a lot of people will probably get really upset about that statement. But what this did, guys, was this put an inexpensive radio into the hands of beginner hams. And I love it for that. I love the UV-5R. I will always love the UV-5R. And I will say that every UV-5R I have tested in the last 2 years has been clean on the Tiny SA in terms of spurious emissions. So I'm happy about that, right? Because there are some old UV-5Rs that aren't clean, and I don't recommend using those radios. I actually have one that just sits in a drawer because it's not clean, and I refuse to use it. But I love the UV-5R. This is a modern take on a fantastic radio, and it's very, very inexpensive. So I love these guys. These are awesome. I want to thank Radiodity for sending them to me in exchange for a review. I'm going to put an affiliate link below where you can pick up a pair of these guys, because they do ship them in pairs. Awesome. If you need a set of radios for your car, or a go kit, or an emergency supply of radios, or whatever, these things are phenomenal, guys. They're awesome. They're great for camping. They're great for hiking. They're great for everything. I love them. I have a lot of radios that are a lot more expensive than this. And sure, I mean, I really like some of those radios. I mean, some of those radios are tri-band or quad-band radios. Some of them have APRS functionality built in. Some of them have, you know, just different features that I really, really like in those radios. But it's going to be hard not to use these as go-tos when I just need a quick little radio for something. So these are awesome. So again, I'm going to put a affiliate link below where you can pick up one of these. If you use my link to purchase, doesn't cost you anything extra, but it's a great way to support my channels. I get a little commission on the sale. Again, I want to thank Radiodity for sending these to me. Guys, I did not pay for these. They sent them to me in exchange for review, so I just want to be clear about that. Guys, let's do an audio test to close out the video.
This is KBHWPD doing an audio transmit and receive test on the Baofeng UV-5R Mini. Test, testing the audio, transmitting on a UV-5R Mini and receiving on a UV-5R Mini. From Baofeng. Audio test. KBHWPD testing.
Well, guys, there you have it. This is the Baofeng UV-5R Mini. Absolutely love it. Again, thanks to Radiodity for sending it to me. Be sure to get one of these guys, or get a pair of them if you are looking for a really small, reliable handheld ham radio. Guys, I'm Kevin, and this is Comms by Kemp Outside, your inside source for outdoor comms. We are really just trying to make sure that you have reliable outdoor communications when you're out there doing whatever outdoor activity you love to do, whether that's camping, hiking, fishing, horseback riding, climbing, biking, whatever you like to do. We want to make sure that you have reliable communications when you're out there doing it. So if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and ring that little bell icon that notifies you when we release new videos. We have a whole lot more coming here at Comms by Kemp Outside. Guys, if you have any questions about anything you saw in the video, drop some in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Or you can connect with us on our other social media. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and X. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you outside.